what's up, traders? Yeah, we are here with the market recap show, and wow, what a day to recap again today. I mean, we had some violent moves throughout the day, but it seems like the Nasdaq just ends up 0.2 and the S&P a little down as well. As we had some bank stocks moving around, we had some bad news from DraftKings today. We had Apple, which started long and then ended up short. Some of these other names, crypto moving around today. It was a pretty exciting day to trade, that is for sure. Nvidia. Look at this candle, Adara, 14. Like, where do we stop on this? I mean, there's earnings, and it was just like, that's nice. Oh, you didn't buy the earnings because you thought they were overdone? Well, you know. Now we are back where we are right now. That is Nvidia. And again, a big close for that name. Let's just go over to a 1-minute chart just to see where exactly we close. How much off of 1050? Yeah, so we did have that high and pull back off of 1150. Nice move to the downside there. It's hard to judge this, like $25 down for Nvidia. It's only up 81% year to date there. Adara? So
Only.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
We're almost halfway through.
That's crazy.
So if it has the same second half that it did first half, this is a $2,500 name.
Or a $250 name after the stock split.
At some point it will be split, and that is the June the 10th.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for reminding us right there. Adara. Okay, let's go. So that's Nvidia. Nice move to the upside today, but that was also followed with AMD. AMD got going too. Although it did pull back, AMD up 3.28%. That was a good one. Did you get that rundown done?
Oh,
we always forget that. I'll have to get back on that.
I will do it right now.
Okay, let's do that. We'll get that going. There isn't too many earnings out, so if you are joining us, watch out for that one. There's Cava right now trying to get going, 83 and change. We can watch out for GameStop today, as that's up to 23 and change right now. Good move, but a little bit of a pullback into the close. We're able to cover some of that. We will talk more about it. But what sectors are moving around today, you may ask? Well, if you didn't, I'm going to go over them anyways. We talked about silver. Michael Noss called this gold's crazy cousin, and yeah, that might be exactly what it is, because it is off to the races today, up 6% or 5.5%. You don't get gold moving like that too often. There goes silver. Nice little upside move today for that one. OPEC out with news. USO, United States Oil Fund, bouncing off the 50-period moving average down at 74, and now, sorry, the 200 period, now going back up to the 50 period and looking half decent there at 78 in change now for USO, also OIH. I love copper. I mean, if that continues to work out again, just great sort of transmission there. A lot of solar using copper. Of course, a lot of the EV space as well, getting through on copper. So that's COPX right now, the miners ETF, a nice move back up to the upside there. Gold, 2.38%, starting to go a little bit. Nice move there for gold as we get a flight to safety, as we can watch the US dollar. I know Mike likes talking dollar, so maybe we could do that with him. Cannabis today. Oh man, I don't know what strain this is on, but it's definitely on a sleepy one right there. Down to $8. What's up, my guy?
You wanted to see cannabis.
You wanted to see that cannabis play? Yeah, MSOS down to $8. We said stay away from this. I've seen so much sort of destruction in many names, you know, including CGC, like names that I hold as well. CGC, if we flip this over, look what it's down. Actually, sorry, up year to date, 68%. So depending on where you got it, $5 up to $8. Look, that was $5 all the way to 14. So these cannabis names continue to be good trades, but you have to be specific with when you're getting in on them. Wait for a time to get into some of these cannabis plays. And I think we're getting close to that. Did DJT do anything right now? So after hours, or I guess just before we close, this is called Trump Media and Technology Group, all the way up to $50, trying to go higher here. DJT, again, another nice name year to date, up 24%, but struggling right now. We have that closing cases. So I don't know if it was closing remarks, don't know exactly what went down there, but right now, nice move for DJT, trying to get breaking through $55. So something to look at right there. Bank names, again, S&P 500 in a little bit of trouble today. So the XLF pulling back in here, down to $41. Look, what goes up must come down. But for right now, XLF, I would buy any weakness, and we'll see. As we know, rate cuts are coming. Banks are better in the environment we're in right now. Rate cuts, going to have to reshuffle their net interest margin. I could see bank stocks coming a little bit lower, but I love JP Morgan, if I was going to take one, of course, with Jamie Dimon, though. He's not buying his own stock. So I say, ayo to everybody that's here from TTG. We're not buying yet. JP Morgan. Maybe I'll talk to Mike about that as well. Box is out of Dara, but doesn't really look like it's moving much. What is going on with you right now?
I am good. We did just get the APPS earnings, which I guess are not.
Apps? Digital Turbine came out?
Yeah, I mean, you can get your entrees, you can get your apps, but yeah, we did get APPS.
All right, what does that look like?
We got that one. So basically here I am seeing we got Q4 EPS beat. Adjusted EPS beat. So adjusted EPS 12 cents versus the estimate of 7 cents. Q4 revenue coming in lower than expected, 112.2 million versus the expectation of 117.7 million. So that is going to be a miss. We also did get EBITDA coming in as a beat for Q4, 12.3 million versus the expectation of 12 million. So that a bit higher than expected here. So EPS beat and EBITDA beat, but revenue miss here for APPS. This one continuing to fall a bit to the downside.
All right, so we talk all the time, and welcome everybody, any new viewers we have. This is what we do live on the show. You could imagine the energy that we have, and then when you get big earnings like Meta or Nvidia or something like that, we go pretty nuts right around here. But here's apps right now. Womp womp, a little bit of a fail action. Boom, there it is, slap to fail. Oh, I'm not logged into Stream Deck over here. Let's get that going right now. But you can see this after hours. Right now, down 8% is Digital Turbine, so fail. There it is. We'll put a slap of fail on that one for now. Hey, it's only down 65% year to date. As we can see, this move all the way to the downside right now, down into $2. Looking to print a little bit lower now, 199 and change. We'll look out for 190 coming through on apps right now, but not much going on there. Let's just take a look again at some of the big movers that happened today. I want to look at some of the individual stocks now. We'll still wait for Cava. If Cava comes out, we will get that absolutely immediately. So get my mug off here for 1 second because we're covering up the big boy right down here. It's Nvidia. So what was a pretty choppy day here and range bound for both. Again, it's a holiday shortened week, so we have to remember that. But we took a turn for the worse in the afternoon, starting around 2 p.m. We had some more hawkish talk, but Nvidia continued today up 7%. The market initially, good consumer confidence print there at 10 a.m., 102 versus 96. Neil Kashkari speaks all day, tries to make it to the downside. Oil prices rise more than $1 ahead of OPEC meetings. Of course, that happened, ahead of the OPEC meeting on Sunday. Right now, major tech sectors upside. Eli Lilly and Merck today. You can see J&J there. Eli Lilly still holding up for it. But you know what? So shout out to Mike who's coming through again. This is another name that we had talked about on our show, and that was Moderna. So today, hey, yo, Mike. Good call on Moderna, pulling back down 8% right there. He highlighted it on Friday or Thursday.
Friday.
Was it Friday when he came on? And again, look, we can have great ideas with trades, Adara, but you got to exit them.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're holding all the way back in, and be disciplined with your trades. And I know that's what True Trading Group's all about, and that's what we're all about here as well. Make sure you have your ins and your outs. I mean, we had multiple trades on GameStop today, but very responsible ones.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you need. So Moderna right now, down into 150. I think we buy this dip. Let's ask Mike when he comes on what he does think of Moderna. Any outs from Cava yet? I don't think that's coming through.
Well,
right
I have a thing with Robinhood, though. Robinhood
I see that with Robinhood. What's up with that?
So basically announcing a $1 billion share repurchase program.
Oh,
saying they expect to execute this program over a 2 to 3 year period, starting in Q3 2024. So this program has not started yet. They're planning on starting it as of Q3 2024. $1 billion share repurchase program over the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay, so we are waiting for Cava, who's coming on very, very soon, hopefully, with that report. But we're going to call Mike in 1 second. I just want to bring something up to everyone's attention right now. So this is Robinhood.
Oh, we got Cava.
Right now, Robinhood is up 100% on the year. But look at where the RSI is, 86. Looks a bit extended. We do have Cava, so I'll get to that in 1 second. We talked about buying Robinhood down here when all the meme craziness had started. But right now, Robinhood upside, taking it out. We like that billion share buyback program right there. Not billion share, $1 billion buyback program. And Cava, nice little upside move, just moving 3%. But Adara, you said the numbers are out.
Oh, yeah.
So give them to us. There's Cava. Right now, Cava, come to the screen here. Cava turning downside right now. Again, this name up 300% from its lows, but now trying to give some back on Cava. Hit us up with the news, and then we're going to Mike.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers here are good. We did have a revenue beat. I'm seeing a couple different numbers for the revenue expectations, but regardless, Q1 revenue, 259 million. So some of the estimates here, I'm seeing 245 million or 235 million. Regardless, their revenue, 259 million. That is resoundingly a beat. We also did get EPS beat here, 12 cents versus the estimate of 4 cents. Some interesting comments, though, coming out from the CEO here, saying that consumers are becoming increasingly discerning about where they spend their dollars, and they're clearly choosing to do that at Cava. So a little bit of sass here in this earnings report from the Cava CEO. Also, though, saying that they do not have any planned price increases coming for the rest of the year. So interesting comments here from Cava. I do love that little bit of sass, though, in that earnings report, saying they're clearly choosing to spend their money at Cava. I was like, okay.
So it's not an ebullient report.
Well, I guess it was, because they did have that beat. I just thought that comment was like maybe a little bit more ebullient than it needed to be, I guess. Probably. A little bit saucy.
Shout out to ebullient movies coming to AMC, of course, what they used when they were talking about that. But I just want to say quickly, before we go to Mike, who's coming up right now, Cava's expected move was 20%. So we're not getting anywhere. Like options of what I was looking at here had a 20% expected move. So Cava not really on the radar. But you know who is on the radar? It's Trader Talk, so let's go. Hey, yo, we got you on the big show now, Mike. We're here. It's Mike Edward from True Trading Group. Thank you so much for joining me here on the biggest and the best show that we have on Trader TV Live. So I was like, you know what? If we're going to have Brian Shannon, JC Peretz, all these crypto, everybody come on this show, I got to get Mike on here. So thank you for spending the time coming out here right now with us. It's Mike Edward. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. It's another wild day. Nvidia all-time highs. It's we got some good earnings that are coming out just now. I see you guys doing some great job covering Cava, Robinhood, a bunch of numbers that are coming through just now. So I was just listening to you guys breaking down the news for us. So yeah, awesome stuff.
You can imagine, like, it gets wild when we have like the Super Bowl of earnings. Fabian, switch it over. Or I mean, yeah, right there, when we get like Meta, Microsoft, Apple, like all in the same day, you can imagine how insane that is. Hey, we're not lucky enough here, Mike, in Canada to have Cava.
You guys are missing out.
That's what I was going to ask you. What's up with that? What is the order for you there?
So I don't even know what it's called. My wife usually gets it for me. She's the one that introduced me to it. But I got to be honest with you guys. I love the stock.
Yep.
I love the place. It's a stock that we put in the long-term portfolio in True Trading Group not too long ago.
Okay.
And it is every time I walk into this place, it's packed.
Right.
It's literally Chipotle with just Mediterranean food.
Okay.
That's why I like it, because Chipotle has already proven the business model. It's just a different type of food. And they're not all over the place. They're not nationwide yet, but they're in my area. And I got to tell you, I've never spoke to someone that doesn't like the food. It's always busy. So I like the stock. I like the company. I like it long term.
Is that something that you do? Because that's something that I do as well, is channel check. I mean, if I'm going there, like the minute my wife 15 years ago says, hey, I'm reloading the Starbucks card because every drink is $6 or $7, I'm buying the stock because I notice that these lineups are happening and I buy that stock. So good little channel check there on Cava. Looking forward to getting it around here. And Chipotle, of course, coming with that split. I mean, if we just look at... Yeah, if we come over to the screen here, look at this Chipotle stock. We had earnings right back in here, announced split all the way to 3,200. We'll wait for that to come through. But Mike, you mentioned Nvidia, and I mean, come on. What are we even supposed to do? Like, I guess this is, and take something away from Kramer here, this is, I guess, a hold, don't trade. Like, every time you get out of this thing, you think you won because you're like, aha, you know, that was good. This is probably the top. And then maybe it was for a day or two, but look at this name continuously going higher. What are you advising right now with Nvidia? Is this something that we just continue to watch? Is it getting a little top heavy? I mean, just year to date alone now, it's 81%. You can see over here, 81% year to date now, Mike. I like the name, and honestly, I'm not getting out of anything Nvidia related.
Yeah, I love the name. This has a permanent position in my long-term portfolio. Right. I am never going to not be a shareholder of this company. I really do feel for people that don't own the stock, because I get questions. I'm sure you guys get questions all the time on social media or on the channel from viewers. If I don't own it, right, do I buy it now? And I can't tell anyone with a straight face. If I'm not willing to buy it myself, then I'm not going to ever tell someone, yeah, it's a great time to buy it, because it feels so extended. It feels so expensive. $2.8 trillion market cap. It's this close to jumping Apple. I just can't,
Ridiculous.
I can't bring myself to buy the stock up here. It's just, for me, it's a
Right.
hold. It's a good trade, but not a lot of people trade it. It's very expensive. The options are expensive, and a lot of people are really looking forward to that stock split. It's
Yeah.
really going to open things up. The options will be cheaper. The shares are going to be much cheaper. So I feel like a lot more retail traders it's going to be in a lot more people's risk tolerance zone. So that's exciting for a lot of people to finally be able to trade it with a little bit more comfortability. But for me, Shawn, you hit it on the head, man. It's a hold. I'm not selling it. Honestly, you could have looked at this thing $600 ago.
Yeah.
And at any point, you could have been like, oh, yeah, this is a good place to take profit. This is a good place to take profit. And yet here we are now at 1150. So it's a hold. Don't mess with it. If you believe in AI, as I do, just hold on to the damn thing. And when it drops, which it will, you'll have 20%, 30% pullbacks. People forget the stock was down 60% in 2022. Like, it will pull back at some point. Just, you got to dive in. You got to buy the stock when that happens.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think anything on a pullback there for Nvidia, but it's like you never want to pull that trigger at the top. You did a great trade on Moderna. I want to talk about that in a minute. You a Starbucks guy or no?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I love Starbucks as well. A lot of us, Adara's giving the big pump. You know what I just started with? There you go. There, Adara, you're on the screen. Yeah, there you go. Pump it up. We like the matcha. I like the matcha tea. I don't know if you've had matcha. I know. I just started drinking it. It's kind of like grassy tasting a little bit, but we're getting a lot of people around here like that. What's your order at Starbucks?
For me, it is the vanilla sweet cream cold brew.
Yes,
Light
yes.
cream. That's me. That's my go-to.
Because you know what I saw here? Look at this Starbucks inflation. It's on my screen right now. I don't know if you can see the show or not, but flip
I can
over.
see it.
Yeah, so it's like 80, like this is how much they've increased over the last decade. 80% on a bagel? Like, I'm trying to find like normal coffees around here. 22% on a nice little latte. A cake pop? I don't know if you have kids or not, but my kids crush these things. I wish we would have gone back to 2014 pricing. Now $1.50. But pick one on here. What if I could say, hey, Mike, you could get any one of these foods. You get a bagel, a little sausage and cheddar. You get a cake pop here, a wrap, or one of these paninis. What are you going for here?
Well, for myself, I'm going with the panini. But
Yeah, okay.
my nieces love the cake pops,
Yeah, oh.
so I probably buy those more often. But I do have my first kid on the way, Shawn.
What? Yes, sir. That's it. Attaboy, Mike. Yeah, we'll get the baseball going on there. You're gonna be loving that. I actually got to go at 4:30. I'm right over. So I head coach two little league teams. One's a house league teams and one's a rep team. And honestly, it just makes me full, basically. And awesome. I think that's going to be awesome for you. So again, congratulations and thanks for letting us know about that. That is awesome. The reason why I bring up Starbucks is not just because we talked about Cava and because I think I need a little bit of a caffeine boost.
Oh, yeah.
You've been on the air for all day here. Starbucks, a great little level. And Mike, we can screen share as well if there's anything that you wanted to share with this. But I just wanted to go over Starbucks because I consider myself like a support and resistance trader, but with companies that I like. I don't want to be going back and forth with GameStop trying to hold on to that because it gets to $20. I'll trade it as a swing, intraday, hold it for a week. But a name like Starbucks or some of these Lululemon, Ulta Beauty, there's been a couple names that have gotten absolutely destroyed lately, but are household names.
Yeah.
So I like picking some of these stocks up on weakness. Is that something that you guys look for? Again, you talked about channel checks. What are some things that'll make you pull the trigger on some of these bigger names?
I like these big brand names that have good, strong brand loyalty. The reason why you've got some of these stocks like an Ulta, a Lululemon, a Starbucks is just what I think you saw happen. Starbucks also got kind of caught up in some political stuff, which you've seen before with Disney. You saw it with Target. Starbucks got caught up in a little bit of that with that kind of boycotting Starbucks, but Starbucks isn't going anywhere. I feel like you have on Starbucks, you have this massive support level down there in the low 70s. Yep. That was the double bottom low from 2022's crash. And then you guys can see right here. So you had that little nice support level there. And you go back further to the 2020 crash, and you formed a nice little base down there in 2022 as well. So after the recent drop that you had, you found support right on that major level. I loved that support level.
Yep.
We actually talked about it on our YouTube channel a bunch. People were asking me about it because the stock was down so big. But the reason why this stock is down, just like Lululemon, just like Ulta, is just concerns about the consumer. And when you take a look at, is the same reason why Nike was down not
Right.
too long ago. It was because, are people going to spend $200 on a pair of sneakers when they can spend 85 somewhere else? They can spend $125 on some leggings at Lululemon, or they're going to spend them somewhere else. You're going to spend $6 for a cup of coffee, or you're going to spend it somewhere else. People are thinking that these higher price consumer discretionary names, the consumer is going to start to pull back from them a little bit. You also just, I heard the breakdown from the Cava earnings where they said, hey, the consumer's pulling back, but the consumer's spending money here. And you said you like that sassiness from the CEO, which I
Right.
like that also as well. But I just feel like that's why these stocks are down. And when the consumer does feel better, when the consumer does have discretionary, these are the brands that have the loyalty. I do like buying them on those reasons for weakness.
Yeah, I mean, that's exact same thing as me. I like to look to see where's the high quality names and what can we actually look to get into. Just a quick overlook here on Cava, down 6%. I mean, if you come over to the chart, it looks like it's trying to go a little bit lower right now, trying to break some of these lows. I'd buy this name a little bit on weakness. What the kind of levels I look for, 50-period moving averages, so maybe down in here into some 70. If we get something to 60, I really like that look as well. Mike, give me your opinion on Uber, because I've been nervous about this, and we've had some, again, pulling right into the 200. This is normally a good buy zone. We just talked about brand loyalty, and Uber's, I mean, Uber's like should be in the dictionary now, right? 15, 20 years ago, we didn't even talk about that. Now it's like Uber this, Uber that, Uber Eats, Uber Freight. I don't know, are you doing helicopter business yet?
Uber
I have no
everywhere,
idea.
yeah.
As we go right now. But Uber pulling back in. Are you worried at all about some of this robo-taxi talk? For me, I am, which is why I'm not pulling the trigger on some more positions here. Any opinion on where Uber is right now? Down quite nicely here, basically flat, heading into their print, but not great from earnings. Uber trying to bounce off 60 if we can get that low.
Yeah, it's funny. I just, every Sunday evening, well, yesterday it was Monday evening because markets were closed Monday, but every Sunday evening I do like a live stream at 8:30 at night Eastern time, where I always go through like my ideas, like
Right.
stocks I'm putting on the list, like what I'm looking at. And I just put Uber on the list for a potential long idea back against the 200-day moving average and the previous all-time high. I don't know if I see the robo taxi as, I know maybe at first glance it seems like it could be a negative for
Right.
Uber, but I feel like it's a technology that I think they're going to adopt.
Right.
And I don't know if it's necessarily something that is going to be so much of a competitor as I think they're going to integrate into the platform. So what I'm looking for is to see if I get a buy signal.
Right.
And when I say a buy signal, I'm looking for a confirmation candle at a support level. And when we talk about support levels, thing that I always try to teach people is that support levels are not finite prices. Like you can't say, oh, support is 62, so if it gets to 61.80, it's broken. No, support and resistance levels are zones.
Right.
And the more volatile the stock, the wider that range is. It's our job as traders to determine how wide that range is. But I'm looking for this low 60 support level on Uber. It was the previous all-time highs back here in 2021. We paused at it here at the end of 23 before eventually taking it out to make the new all-time high. Then you dropped back down into that level, and now here we are sitting against it. What I'm looking for, honestly, Shawn, is like a hammer tail off of that 200-day, like
Right.
maybe
Okay.
maybe a gap down day and the stock finishes green and you get a candle that might look, I'll draw it out. I love drawing out the
Yeah,
candle. You
like
might
those
get a
little
candle
wicks
that
at the
looks
bottom.
something like this.
Yeah.
And that for me would be a nice little buy
Yep.
signal. And at that point, I would look for a little bit of a recovery. But I'm waiting, like you said,
Same.
little nervousness on this pullback. There doesn't feel like there's a lot of buying pressure, but you're coming into a big support zone. I'm looking for a kind of a bottoming tail in this area to give me a little bit more upside.
Yeah, so I look for that exact same thing, and it would be awesome if we got volume with that candle
Yeah.
as well. Like if that was on a nice print, definitely well worth looking into Uber. So good. I'm glad we're kind of on the same page here. Look, you don't get too many stocks, Mike. I just looked. It's literally flat on the year. Like it's like 0.5% one way or the other. So you don't get too many quality names like that have pulled back and giving you everything back in the last 6 months. So well worth a look. Any other names you might want to talk about that we could review the next time you're coming on? And by the way, we're flashing at the bottom there. Everyone join you up there at True Trading Group. You do have that promotion on. So we've been flashing that. They can find you also on X, which is on board as well. So before we wrap, is there anything maybe that you want to get off your chest or any sort of idea that you want to discuss?
Yeah, I took a brand new position today on Coinbase. So I'm long Coinbase from 234 and change, and I'm already out of about 75% of the position. So I just want to be clear, full transparency. I'm only in about 25% of this, but I'm looking for a little bit more upside here on Coinbase. And one thing that I like to, when I look for setups, I like to say, okay, when I see a level on a daily chart, I get my ideas. Well, I want to be long, I want to be short. I get them from the daily chart. So when I see a level that I think is going to be support, I then look for signals intraday that confirm that level, and those are my buy signals. So for me today, and again, I talked about this on my, when I talked about Uber last night, I talked about Coinbase last night on our YouTube channel. I'm also going live at 4:30 on our channel. If you guys want to check us out there, you can check me out on X. Also, you can check us out on YouTube. I'll be live at 4:30 on the True Trading Group YouTube channel. But this level you guys see right here, all right, used to be a beautiful support level that you had there in the beginning of April. It broke to the downside, and then it became resistance, resistance, and resistance. And you have this dark blue line on my screen, which is the 50-day SMA. Okay, it's a 50-day moving average. And I said, if we get above this level, I think the stock has room, because I don't really see any structure until you get to 260. So I feel like I'm bullish on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, recently pushed back to 70K. If there's a breakout there, I want to watch this name. So I said to myself, I want to see if there's support against that 50-day moving average.
Right.
So that was my game plan, support against the 50-day. So when I go intraday, I'm sorry about that, my dog's going crazy. The Amazon is dropping off a package. But if we go to the intraday setup, and I break it down to a 3-minute chart for you, which is what I like to trade off of, the 3-minute. I also use 5 and 15 minutes, but the shortest time frame that I use is 3 minutes. This level that I just drew on my screen, that was the 50-day on the daily chart. It was also a nice little level for us on Friday. So when we opened up today and we dropped into it, I want you to see this nice little double bottom, kind of triple bottom type of price action. And that little hammer tail right there was my buy signal. I took the trade long right there, just above 234. And I scaled out, taking profits into the 240s and then into the close up here around 246. But I'm still long about 25% of the position. I'm going to try to see if there's a pullback into 240.
Okay.
Maybe I can reload the position with a final target in the low 260s.
All right, and then your out would be basically a break of that support that you were talking about. So playing with house money at this point. You know what, Mike? I gotta let you go because you only have a couple minutes before everyone could join you live. Come over to my chart. I thought you were gonna say I actually drew this area right here, thinking that Mike was gonna come in and say he saw that wick right there at 230 and then blasted that to the upside, but you were already in down here. So great trade there, Mr. Mike Edward. Everybody can go find you at True Trading Group. Details at the bottom. So thank you so much for joining. I hope you had a good time. And promise me you'll come back.
Always a pleasure, man. I love coming on the channel. Love talking it up with you guys. Two things I'll never get tired of talking about: stocks and sports. We do them both. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to do it again soon.
Hey, and pretty soon fatherhood.
Yes.
Let's go. It's Mike Edwards, the Trader Talk. Ciao, ciao, ciao. See you, my guy. Oops, we did it again.
Just like Brittany.
We're not stopping. I tried to tell people that we're not stopping. No. We have guests coming through with great ideas, huge personalities. Thank you so much to Mike Edward for coming from True Trading Group. Again, professional through and through. I love that we're talking support and resistance. Like, I feel like that is right up my alley. A lot of the signs that he was giving, we talk about 50-period moving averages all the time. I actually institute that on a 1-minute chart. How loco am I? So we use that kind of stuff over and over and over again. So a big holler and thank you to Mr. Mike Edward for coming through one more time there on our show. And maybe, hey, if he wants to invite me, I'll go over to TTG. You know what I'm saying? Right there, yeah, I'm a little busy guy, but you know. All right, so you want to talk about support and resistance, check this out as we'll just go over the sticky note real quick right now. But one trade that we had was Shopify today. What a good trade that was, breaking higher early, buying the dips, boom, there, buying it again, and out at the end of the day there. So a couple ins and outs there on Shopify, ending our day right there. Big trades that we had on board, we were looking at Tesla today as well. And for those of you watching right now, thank you so much for doing that, everybody from TTG. But what is this sticky note idea that we're talking about? Well, every day I put this out, and it is our sticky note. It's just different ideas. Apple long, we can go over that. AMD long at 166. Are you kidding me? DraftKings today, we like that short. GameStop, a couple outs on GameStop, and then the Tesla as well. So a couple different ideas. I don't know why that's still, hold on a second, Tesla.n. Oh, you know what? We might be down now on our chart server. No, there it is. So there's the long there early on Tesla once the chart loads. There it is. There's that 173 and change. We waited for that at Dara. So we get 173.50 out right there, 176. $2.50. Tried the short there, but did get stopped out when we did break through 178. So that was up and down and around. And then AMD, another name that we really nailed early, but we... Oh, that's still Tesla. Come on, AMD. But we didn't put that 166 on. I was waiting for 164. We shorted it again before it started to rip up to the upside. So a couple decent trades coming through there. But the trade of the day for me was Alibaba. And you'd think it was probably long, but it was actually the other way around. We waited for that move. Nice upside into 81 there. Give us some support and resistance from the open. Alibaba all the way to the downside as we had a pushback in the overall market. Who is FFIE out or what?
I didn't see anything.
All right, let me just double check this. $1.20. No, for everybody asking in the chat. We do not have Faraday Future out, but we'll have that tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to have it in the future.
It'll be at some point in the future.
Yes, for Faraday Future.
And it won't be while we're live because we got to get out of here. So
yeah.
Thank you to everybody for watching. A big thanks to Mike Edward. A big thank you to everybody from TTG who hopped in there as well. Hey, look, it's just Tuesday. It's a shortened week. We've got a bunch more to come. And it's coming tomorrow at 8:30, so make sure you join Adara and myself. Go follow me at TraderTV Shawn, at TraderTV Adara on all your socials. Thanks, Adara. That was fun.
That was
and
so
we
much
will
fun.
be seeing everybody tomorrow. Ciao.
Bye.